Welcome back to JCR Garage, and this time we're going to talk about how it has been owning and running, daily driving actually, the abandoned Granada for the past, well, what is it, 3,000 kilometers and almost 2,000 miles, and almost 3 months actually. Now, if you are new to the channel, you should hit that subscribe button to stay updated on what's going to happen in this channel, as well as hit that like button, give it a big fat thumbs up. And if you also are that new that you don't know anything about the abandoned Granada, then here is the rundown. The abandoned Granada is a 1977 Ford Granada Coupe with a 2.3 liter V6, that is the Cologne V6, found in a lot of other cars as well as the Granadas. They also made a couple of cars in America using the Cologne V6s. Now, this particular car, as I said, it's a 1977, and in 1997 it was parked by the river in a little bush. It was parked there and it stood there for 20 years until May 2017 when I found it. Now, it took me about a week. I got a hold of the last registered owner, asked him about the car, and he hadn't even thought about the car for years. I asked him, well, is it possible to buy it from you, because it's really too bad of it sitting there and rotting. And that was fine. I could buy it for what is the price of scrapped cars around here, which is local currency 3,000. I'll have the dollars right there with the current the value, and bought it, hauled it home. At that time I drove a 1993 Chevy Blazer S10 as my daily. That had started developing a couple of issues, and well, it only got worse. So previously I'd thought about maybe trying to trade it in a Granada, and I've asked around on Facebook on certain pages there, and I almost got a hold of one that was a second generation 2.8 injection with Recaro seats and fully loaded. It was a Swedish one, so it had to be imported, but it was a pretty good trade, I felt. But the guy wouldn't go along with it because the Blazer couldn't tow as much as he would want it to. And then a friend of mine told me about this one, and I went and had a look at it and just went, yeah, I'm having it. It looked like crap, as you have seen in the picture, but I pulled it home and went over it. I replaced the fuel lines in the engine bay along with the fuel filter, adjusted a little bit on timing. Took a long while, but it actually started up after a lot of cranking, and it smoked like a banshee. But that is what I got done with it to start with. Now, in June, I had an accident with an angle grinder that left me in a cast because I slid up just over my wrist there with a cutoff wheel, which, well, it took out a couple of tendons and a lot of nerves. So it left me kind of incapacitated for much of the summer. Now, when August rolled around, I had actually got my cast off, but I wasn't as much at home that I was able to get anything done. That went sideways. When September rolled around, I was still not at home, but with October coming up, I went on pretty much every forum I could to get a hold of the parts I needed. Now, it's obvious it needed windows, a windscreen, rear window, and that window, because those were all bashed in, as well as a few other small things that I had to fix, the floor being one of them. I got all that fixed, and I got it to its first inspection in November, that it didn't pass because I needed to replace the ball joints and the rear wheel bearings because those had worn out on my way to the first inspection. Now, I did all that and got it registered in December. It was the 4th of December. And since then I've been running it as my daily and put almost 2,000 miles on it, or 3,000 kilometers. And in that time, it hasn't really developed big issues. I've had to replace the rear shock absorbers because one of them started leaking and it was flopping around everywhere. And the sideways again. And the rubber seal on the tie rod end had cracked open, and well, when they do that, you have to swap them over here. So I did that, and that was just fine. I had to replace the steering wheel because, yeah, another stupid law. You have to have an original steering wheel or one with documentation that it goes to that car. And the wheel I had on this was a much smaller, a bit longer out, sort of a sports steering wheel. Now that I couldn't have, so I had to replace it with the factory one. Now I can just swap back to the other one while no one's seeing it, but I'm not going to do that yet, because I actually kind of like this, because I don't have power steering, so a big wheel is kind of nice to have. Now, I also had to put side marker turn signals on it, because it had them from the factory, but the original ones are so ugly that I just tore them off, because I don't really like the look of them. But I had to put a new set on there, because it has to have them. But I've been thinking of getting, because I have the green parts car that I'm going to pull the front fenders off of, and I think I'm going to weld the original holes up there and get a hold of 1968 Dodge Charger side marker lights, because those are small flush mounted round ones, and I think those are going to look a whole lot better, so I'm going to get a hold of those and make those into turn signals. And one issue it actually developed was that when it got low, well, when the engine got under load, it didn't run. It coughed and backfired, and it was a pile. But after just thinking about it for a while, I was kind of afraid I'd taken out an exhaust valve, because my 77 Dodge Aspen did that, and it went like crap. As soon as it got to a hill, it just started backfiring and fudding and being all bad, but that had bent an exhaust valve, so it didn't seal right. But here it was luckily just the points, because this thing had points ignition. Now the 77 Aspen doesn't have that, because Mopar used the really early electronic ignition. Now on this it was just adjust the points, get them back up to 0.4 millimeters. Still the value in whatever it is, inches, is there. And that sorted that problem out. Now it runs like a champ again. Now, things that are going to happen to this car is it is going to get a 302 V8 after a while, along with a 4-speed top loader. And that would improve pretty much all of it, because the one thing I feel this car is missing is power. The 2.3 V6 is rated at about 112 horsepower, which really isn't a lot. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. Right now it runs pretty fine. I mean, I don't have a tach, so I don't know how high I'm going on the revs, but I'm doing 45, 50 miles an hour. That's just fine. Now, the really nice thing about these cars is they have a really good suspension. Now, the rear is independent trailing arm, well, semi-trailing arm rear suspension, which works pretty damn good. Now, if you lower these things, they will get more camber on the back, which actually helps them sit a lot better to the road. Well, they grip up like crazy when you have real tires. And they are like pretty much driving a roller coaster. It feels like you're on rails. They are awesome that way. And the front suspension is not even a McPherson strut, it is double A-arm suspension. So it grips up the road really good, and for being a 40, yeah, it's actually a 40-year-old car, 41 actually this year, it sticks to the road a lot better than a lot of their competitors. Now this car is going to have some few other improvements other than the engine swap, because, well, I don't have a door card on this door. It is just metal with holes in it like it would have, and that gets kind of cold in winter, because it drafts in a lot of cold air. Headliner, that is, well, you can see a big hole behind me up there. It is really bad. It is let go on both ends. The only place it is actually stuck is in the rubber things around the window, or around the door opening. And the transmission, the shifter, keeps popping out of the trans housing, which, well, when you know about it, it's easy to remember, but you don't really think about it because you just make sure you have the shifter pushed down when you shift. But other than that, it is a little bit of a pain, because if you try to shift a bit aggressively, you end up with the shifter inside the car. That will have to be sorted, but with a top loader that wouldn't be a problem anymore, because I would just swap the entire transmission. Now, I think that's going to be it for this video. Now, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I also have to remind you that we are doing a giveaway on this channel. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, we are giving out anything on Amazon for $1,000 or less. Shipped anywhere in the world, everything paid for. You just get it and it's yours. That is to one lucky subscriber when we hit 1,000. So make sure you check out that video. The link for that video is down in the description and also up in that corner over there, actually. And yeah, that is what is gonna happen. Now, like I said, subscribe to the channel, leave a big fat like, and comment down below. I'll see you later. Take care.